Hello, Craig Jervis here, coach, mentor and leadership expert. Just finished a coaching session with a client of mine and really wanted to share something with you that I thought was absolutely valuable. I've got a client at the moment that's doing exceptionally well in all areas of his life, and he's got a lot of balance there, and I asked him to score different areas of his life, be it wealth, health, relationships, business. I asked him to score them from 1 to 10. And he gave me a consistent number from 7 to 10. So he said his business was around an 8, his health was a 7, his relationship was at an 8. So he's really got a good balance there happening. And he said to me, he goes, Craig, I want to talk to you about raising my standards. And I said, well, hang on, what do you mean you want to raise your standards? And he said, well, I've got all these areas working so well, I want to make my standards better in these areas. And I said, well, is it really about bettering your standards, or is it about creating some consistency? And what I mean by that is this. So many people go from doing nothing to doing everything in a short period of time. So if you have a look at this diagram that I've drawn here, is that let's say you're doing nothing around health at the moment, and you're doing nothing around health, so you start here, and then you say, right, I'm going to commit to training 5 days a week, an hour a day. So you haven't been doing anything at all. So what you do is that you throw everything into it, all your energy, all your time, and you throw it all in there, and you start to spike. And as you start to spike, you're like, wow, I'm loving this. This is going really, really well. And all of a sudden, you hit a threshold in the spike, and then you go, wow, I'm burnt out, I've had enough, and you start to come back down into this burnout area. So I said to my client, I said, is it so much about raising your standards, or maybe it's about creating some consistency around that? So if everything's at an 8 at the moment, let's keep that at a consistent 8 for at least another 3 to 6 month period. So if you're creating consistency, all of a sudden you start conditioning in those consistent actions that then creates, guess what? Consistent and empowering habits, okay? Too many people in their lives, be it with health, business, relationships, career, wealth, whatever that may be, they start from doing nothing, they go absolutely full tilt, they spike, and then all of a sudden they go, wow, this is too much, I can't handle it, I can't balance all these other areas of my life. So guess what? They start to slide down this scale and they hit burnout to back where they started doing nothing again. They end up on the couch, or they end up doing nothing for another 3 months or another 6 months, and then they start the process over again, and they go, right, I now commit to doing 5 days a week in the gym, or I now commit to reading a book or watching DVDs or listening to CDs an hour a day to put myself through some personal development and growth, or I'm going to commit to having 1 hour of absolute quality time with my partner, working on our relationship every single day, 7 days a week, and they do it for a period of time, but then they burn out, and then they go back to burnout, and then they start over again. If this sounds familiar to you, and I'm sure I'm not talking to you right now, I'm talking to everybody else out there in the world. Well, let me give you a couple of tips on this. Number 1, create some consistency. Create some goals or some outcomes that you feel that are achievable right now. Instead of going from no health at all to going to 5, 6 days a week, why not say, right, I commit to half an hour a day, 3 days a week. Let's get some consistency happening. Or if it's around your business and your business is, say, turning over $50,000 a month, well, how do we keep that consistent for another 3 to 6 months, and then we tweak it to make, say, $55,000 a month? Or if you're looking at, say, something like wealth creation, and you need to do some study around trading or property, well, maybe commit to, instead of saying I'm going to commit to 2 hours a day to learn, maybe commit to, say, 15 minutes or half an hour a day, which is going to be more consistent with what you're able to handle. So create some consistency. Once you create consistency, you can create some conditioning. You're conditioning in that consistency. then all of a sudden, as you're conditioning that consistency, you're creating something called empowering or positive or good habits. Because once you create habits, and they say in psychology it takes 21 days to create a habit, I say to my clients, do it for 31 days and watch how amazing the habits become or that you create. Then you've got that in your system, it's in your DNA, it's in your physiology. Then all of a sudden, bang, you can start to raise your standards. Or you can start to raise the time around that. So guys, I hope that truly helped. Any questions, send me a message either at Platinum Coaching Corporation or on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now.